How's it going, everyone? It's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch, back with another review. Today it's Judge, provided to us by 10 Tons Limited. This is a spin-off of Neon Chrome, which I reviewed last week. So let's find out if this game is also worth your hard-earned cash. Let's get into it. Now, just before we start on this review, I found something that was quite hilarious actually. If you press the Y button on the title screen, your judge starts moving around in a funny way and making some weird noises. And if you do it for long enough, his arm drops off. So it was quite a surprise when I found this out. And it just made me laugh. And I thought if any of you just bypass the title screen, you know, this might be something funny you want to check out yourselves. But let's get straight into the story. Just like in the recently reviewed Neon Chrome, which this game is a direct spin-off of, it's pretty light in story in that it's super simple. You get to build your judge, enter Edenbyrg, and you need to eradicate crime, make it out of each mission alive. And this sounds very familiar if you ask me. The audio here, when comparing to Neon Chrome, I think is actually improved. There are a number of included soundtracks which in the most part sound good, like Down With You being a highlight, with the exception of a few duds though, like Discord. Makes you feel like you're about to go in and apply some real rough justice. The sound of the heavy laser in terms of sound effects makes me feel like I'm a battle trooper in Star Wars. Shame it doesn't have the same distinctive sound, but it will do. The sound the men make when they go down is satisfying, from their R's to their O's. I would point out that the voice of the judge sounds a little bit weird. I can't put my finger on it, but does not hamper the enjoyment in the slightest. Overall, 10 Tons have done a great job on the music and sound. Now, visually, this is more or less exactly like Neon Chrome, as most of the assets are recycled here from that game, so you could look at it as being a little bit shortchanged, but more positively, if it wasn't broke and it's based on that game, then why change it? This time though, one of my main gripes has been slightly alleviated in that this time there's a little bit more variation to the look of the levels. I like being outside for one, and it raining, turning up in your cop car and people standing around. There seems to be more destructible parts in these levels now as well. The explosions and sound effects, they all look decent enough. The neon signs are still around, and the characters' animations, they're all very similar. There's nothing really different there. You will find here though that the bullets move slower, and I mean quite a bit slower than in Neon Chrome. The game did run with absolutely no slowdown in either docked mode or on the Switch. I made sure this time that this was checked, as there was a few complaints on the recent Neon Chrome. Gameplay here is basically Neon Chrome in every sense. The gameplay mechanics are similar. It's a twin stick shooter. Your weapon is heavily upgradable, both from buying new projectiles for your weapon, which you only have one of called the Gavel, to actually upgrading the projectile and how much damage it can do. It has a hammer on the end which can be used for melee combat, but I prefer to stay back and pick my enemies off from a distance, so I spent all of my cash on the heavy laser beam which bounces off walls. Now this beam would kill most enemies in one hit and was super satisfying, but if you prefer, you can invest in the dynamite gravel causing an explosion when each swing of your weapon, or how about rapid fire to increase the rate of your weapon fire by 20%. The list is extensive. There is something here for each differing mission, which I really liked. There are lots of customizations you can apply to your judge as well, also from having a hacking tool to having a little drone with you, much like in Neon Chrome if you were the hacker. You can apply bullet dodger to make your enemies fire bullets 30% slower, or how about shrinkify to make you smaller. Now apparently there are over 1 billion combinations, so no two judges out there will ever be the same. I do have a confession though, I didn't count all of these configurations, so I can't say how many over the billion it actually is. There was nothing better than not only the one hit kills, but bouncing bullet off walls and then killing someone. The game though has a fundamental difference in that this is not a roguelike and does not have procedurally driven levels. In fact, it's deemed a roguelike hater. In Judge, you know exactly what you're getting each time you begin a mission. Each mission will have you completing 3 main objectives, and these will vary from mission to mission, but in essence, it's something like kill the enemies, rescue the hostages, and all in 30 seconds, with each objective gaining you a medal. Now if you do all 3, you'll get all 3 medals. With each mission, you'll get cash either from loot in the mission or for completing the mission which you've put towards your upgrades, and these will be costly, from unlocking extra slots on your Gavel to spending the cash increasing damage on your secondary weapons like rockets. Act 1 will require 15 medals to open up Act 2, and you continue to progress in the game by collecting enough medals to unlock the next act or the next level. The end of the act, you will get to kill a boss, and I think it's a little bit naughty that they use the same boss from Neon Chrome in Act 1 and 2. Most of the harder enemies are human, but just tougher to beat. Now in Act 1 you'll open up hardcore mode, which will give you the opportunity to get more medals, but in a harder mode, and it's also really fun because the hardcore missions vary slightly. You may have to kill all the enemies unnoticed or take no damage at all. This is where all the different upgrades will come in to help you. Want to complete a mission without getting seen? Equip Shadow Blend. There is more of a traditional type of game here, and having played Neon Chrome, it's something that I really did enjoy. I liked becoming familiar, playing the missions over and over so I could perfect each one, and you can only really do that with memory of knowing where every enemy and hostage is placed. For people that like roguelike aspect of Neon Chrome, they may be thinking this may not be for them, but that's exactly the point. The game aims to be completely different. A roguelike hater, but remaining familiar, and it does really work a treat. It's more accessible to the casual gamer, but has something to please hardcore fans. It means you can play a mission when you have a spare 2 minutes, which works with this system splendidly, and most of all the game feels more structured. And although I love roguelikes and I've played my fair share lately, I really enjoyed the change up here. Controls on this game are very tight, but I do wish they had included rumble support to heighten the overall experience. In terms of value, the game took me around 6 or 7 hours to complete, but the fun here is going back and perfecting each mission and continuing to upgrade your character. Getting each medal will take you significantly longer, and this is where the replayability comes in. The game also offers co-op, where a friend can jump in whenever they like, and that's a really welcome addition. But remember, like Neon Chrome, you will need a full controller each. No breaking off a Joy-Con here for your friend. I did not get to try co-op unfortunately this time around, and again, like most of these indie games, there is no online to speak of. Again, a real shame. For me, the game is priced accordingly at $14.99 or £12.99, and is going to give you a whole heap of enjoyment. In many ways, Judge is a very similar top-down shooter to Neon Chrome. In fact, if you looked at them from a distance, it would be hard to tell them apart. So if you liked that game, you're in for a treat here. If you don't like roguelikes but you love top-down shooters, then this is a great little game to invest in. The missions are short and sweet, it's fun without being overly punishing, and I think this game will appeal more because nothing here is random, so you get to know each and every level. For me, I found this more enjoyable on the move due to the nature of the bite-sized mission structure and being able to dive in and out again just to try for that more difficult medal. I do really feel that players should play both games to appreciate the differences. If you ask which I prefer, I like both, but for differing reasons. Now, some may feel shortchanged as most of the assets are recycled from Neon Chrome, but if you like that game, then this offers equal enjoyment, just in a very different way. So for me, the score is the same as Neon Chrome, 7.5 out of 10. Just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome all of our new subscribers. There's been quite a few lately. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you to all of the guys that have been with us since the beginning. It really means a lot to James and I. If you enjoyed this video, all we ask is that you hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below if you like about this game or Neon Chrome or any other Nintendo Switch game. And last but not least, if you're a new watcher today, then consider subscribing. My name's Juan Romero, you know what I'm going to say, guys. I'll see you on the next one.